As he stood in the memorial garden, it felt as if he was in a dream. His black hair hung over his face as he looked at the small marker to honor his mother. In loving memory. She had written her own obituary, picked the memorial placard, and prepaid the cremation. Basically, she had planned her own funeral down to the last detail. It was over. The funeral made it final. The drive took Gaius a little longer than anticipated. As Gaius pulled into the little town of Pleasant, he passed the sign that read, "Welcome to Pleasant, where it's more than pleasant." Shortly after that, he passed the customary green sign that said population 667, elevation 6,430. He crested the last bend in the road, and he got his first glimpse of Pleasant, Utah. For a moment, he thought he might have stepped out on the set of a Western movie, or into a real-life ghost town. Elizabeth Ord Anderson, or Sister Anderson as she was now known, loved Jesus Christ. She loved sharing her testimony of the Church of Latter-day Saints. Living the religion was all she had ever known. 3-hour church meetings every Sunday was a way of life. Each week, it was the same. Sacrament meeting, Sunday school, and then one more class where young women were taught how to be good wives, neighbors, and daughters. "Hey, I recognize you two," Gaius said warmly as he walked to the booth. Tish slid around the middle and made room for him to join them. "I like the way you two go to church," he said, still smiling. "Excuse me?" Elizabeth said, finally looking directly at him. "Well, you guys rolled in late and bailed early. That's my kind of church meeting." His smile was disarming, and Elizabeth found herself at a loss for words. The thought of his voice still made her pulse race. She stripped off the garments and put on the lace-pink panties, and watching herself in the mirror, it was hard to believe the sexy, lean woman in the reflection was her. She moved her head more, so her hair swayed. It felt so foreign to be sexy.
"Elizabeth! Breakfast!"
Due to all the added clutter, the small area had gotten very crowded, leaving little room to move about. As Elizabeth turned, she lost her balance and fell into Gaius. He grabbed her around the waist and pulled her close. "Are you okay?" A look of concern in his eyes. "Yes," she said. "Just clumsy." She looked at the ground. He put his hand under her chin and tilted it up towards him. "You're so pretty," he said softly, their eyes meeting. "Thanks." Her eyelids lowered, but he was still holding her chin. Leaning in, he kissed her softly and lightly. Not knowing how to respond, her back stiffened and she pulled away. "Sorry," Gaius mumbled. "I've wanted to do that for days, and I thought you—" "It's okay." She blushed heavily. Her stomach tightened. Even if she was an adult in the eyes of the law, her parents could still make her feel like a 6-year-old. "Elizabeth, we were just talking about you. Come sit with us. Let's talk about your adventure this week. As you become an adult, we want to remind you of God's plan for you and your covenant to Him." "Just going camping, Dad. No big deal." "Your father and I would like to talk to you about our Heavenly Father and the commitment you have to Him when it comes to your body," her mother said primly, joining them in the formal living room. "Chastity is a sacred oath. As far as sins go, sex before marriage is right up there with murder." Gaius slipped his arm around her shoulder, and she moved her arm around his waist. They stopped, turning into each other, and he kissed her. Elizabeth's mouth yielded only a moment before she pressed her body into his and kissed him back. "Easy there, lizard," he said, pulling back. "I believe you said you wanted to wait until your wedding night, and a kiss like that, well, there's only one place a kiss like that leads." His look was smoldering. Elizabeth blushed, scarlet red. She could feel her pulse and her blood swooshing through her veins. Her body tingled, feeling more alive than ever.